Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. Okay, so I want to do a quick review on this camera. I was online buying IP cameras for my DVR. IP cameras are the ones that use the blue cable instead of the old coax cable. So you just plug in like a LAN cable, a blue cable, same as what you do with all the computers. So I was looking over that and I found this little camera here and it was $25. And I thought, well, for $25, you know, it's got to be worth a look. And I thought, well, if we can get it working or if it's good for anything, then that's okay. So I went over it. And it arrived, and I'll show you what I've come up with. So the part number for this is SYYU988AB, which means completely nothing. Don't try Google searching it because you won't get anything, because I did that trying to find more of the instructions. Anyway, it's got the name and address of the manufacturer who created it. One of the reasons I purchased this, we'll do the unboxing. Okay, that's the box, that's the camera, that's the little mount, that's the instructions. We've got some wall plugs. And we've got a USB to micro Android, just normal one. Okay, let's put that back in there. The bracket, well, the bracket I found quite good. You know, it mounts like that. You've got two screw holes here. You just tighten that up. The camera sits on top. You've got a little grub screw there. You know, I'll probably use it on a different type of camera because I probably won't need it for this one. And it mounts just like that. Okay, so that's it. 25 bucks off eBay. Now, some of the claims it has: Wi-Fi. Pan ability. That means that the camera moves left and right. So that's kind of interesting. What else was there? The resolution was just standard HP, you know, 1080p, so it was nothing special. But I thought for $25 as an internal camera, that's pretty cool. So I thought, okay, I'll buy it and I'll see how we go. All right, functions on this particular camera. It's a one-button system. There's your button there. You push it, it beeps at you and beeps at you and beeps at you when you spend the next 5 minutes trying to get it hooked up and connected. To plug it in, you simply just need your USB cable with a little bit of power, so you just plug that in there like that. Have we got power? Is my USB cable not working now? Okay, I just need to plug that in. On the back you've got a micro SD card, and you've got to use your best fingernail to try and get that out, or your longest fingernail, and it pops out just like that. I've paired it up with a 2 gig micro SD card, quite an old one from an old mobile phone, and it seems to be working quite well. Right, so now we go to this, plug it in like this, and we have to just leave it there for a minute to warm up. Now, to actually talk to this device, I went through the instruction manual, which is here. Basically, I'll summarize it for you. Plug in your camera, scan the QR code, then go to this right here and log in, and then add the camera, push the button on the back till it starts beeping, find the camera, and then add the camera, make sure your router can do it, and then make connection via your Wi-Fi settings. From there you should be able to control the camera. Okay, that's pretty much what it breaks down into. Now the camera's on, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to go to my settings just quickly. I'll just take my camera off phone, sorry, my phone off camera so you don't see all my other stuff. So I'm looking now there for it, and I found it there as camera. So I go there, okay, and I might actually, so I'm actually paired up now with it. So as far as being a Wi-Fi camera, yes, it's using Wi-Fi to transmit its data, but it's not the same Wi-Fi as we're all used to, or probably what you're expecting. Let me show you how to pair it up and then we'll talk about the rest of it. Okay, so I've now set it with the Wi-Fi, and as you can see it's moving around a little bit. Now I'm going to go to this app. Now you have to download this app and give it a whole heap of permissions. This app is called, what is it called? Where is it? Wi-Fi app. So it's basically a camera app that works on a cloud system, so their idea is to try and get you to subscribe to the cloud, pay a monthly fee and all that sort of stuff. Without doing that, you still can use it, but it's just like the Ring doorbells. Without it, it's not going to be as good. Okay, so now I've downloaded the app, I've signed in, I've given it permissions, you know, permissions for the camera, permissions for the microphone, permissions for your photo album, permissions for exact location, and you know, there's probably a few others there I haven't even mentioned. So before you know, you kind of go doing this, know that all these little permissions that you're giving this gives away a lot of data from your phone, and it gives it to a company you have no idea about, located in China, basically so that we can use their $25 device. So it's kind of like the Candy Crush scenario. They give you a really good app, you play along, and eventually they're milking you for all sorts of functions and this and that, and data that they're getting from it. That's what I can see happening with this camera, but that's just my conspiracy. All right. And I think we've waited long enough, nothing's happening. Let's go back. I want to exit, yes. Okay, now let's do hotspot direct connect. Connect. Okay, so now we're loading and we're on. Now, if I wish to do this again, or open up this app again, if I was to go back right now, it would say, are you sure you want a quick camera setup? So basically, the people who made this have knocked off these people's software, and the software is not 100% compatible. It doesn't store the device. So to be able to remotely view your camera via your phone, you would actually need to kind of keep it on or resync it up via Wi-Fi each and every time, like we just did. Plus symbol, hotspot direct connect, and then you actually pair it up. So there is a cloud service, and whether or not it'll retain the camera details, I doubt it, because it can't even register the camera in its actual app itself. So what this looks like is, it looks like this Chineseism camera has knocked off another Chinese supplier's software app rather than make their own, and then, you know, saying it's compatible, or this is how you do it, because this is what's in the instructions here. But it's clearly not compatible. When I do some of the searches, it's clearly another, you know, product that's not the same product that this is actually looking for, because this has search by barcode. There's like multiple ways to connect up the correct device to this correct app, but this is not the correct device. So unfortunately, to get it working with this actual handheld phone, you actually need to sync your Wi-Fi, use your Wi-Fi to talk to it, okay? And then every time you log into this app, you actually have to do that. So there's no remember camera settings, which is a bit of an issue. So let me just lay this out for you. If you want to remotely look at this camera, you can only do that over Wi-Fi. So that's only over about 5 meters at best. So there is no real benefit to actually looking at this camera via Wi-Fi unless you've got a room next door that you want to keep an eye on, and you want to sacrifice the use of your phone to be able to look at this live feed, because that's pretty much all it is. Okay, let's go over the other options now of going left and right. And it is moving, you see? It is moving, which is pretty good. The image is not bad. If we bring up a bigger image, you can see it's reasonable. Alright, so let's go back now. How do we get this off this? Okay, now we've got another controller. But how do we get this back? Do we just tilt it? There we go, we just tilt it. Okay, settings. So camera ID, camera settings, image rotate. So if you mount it upside down or you mount it this way, you can fix that just by pushing that. Motion tracking, so if something moves in front of it. Camera alarm sound. And then we go back here, set successfully. And normally it has a little bit of a lag time or waiting time. So I'm not even touching my phone there, it's got quite a bit of lag. So something moved in front, nothing happened. Okay, so I'm not getting any tracking there. It does track a little bit, but as to how good it is yet to be seen. Okay, microphone button now. Long press to talk. 1, 2, 3. I don't hear it. Volume off. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So basically the camera and the phone is playing it back. I'll just turn that off. Okay, so it does have a microphone, it does have a speaker in it, it's very low quality, it's very low. It does also have another button here where you can push it and it'll start to record. Automatically it should start recording when it's plugged in and it sets up for motion. As far as having an app to control this, to set up all its parameters, it just doesn't have it. So you can't go in and say set up under these conditions or anything like that. You've basically got 3 buttons, keep current selection, 3 buttons. Oh, there we go, motion tracking's off, camera alarm sound's off, image rotation, that's off. That's all you kind of get. The rest of it, firmware, set pin number, none of that we're going to worry about. So, having these controls on this camera, yes, it does do pan where it moves around, as you can see. Yes, it is over Wi-Fi. Okay, everything else is just not there. I can't hook this up whatsoever to a DVR, so which means I can't hook it up to my Wi-Fi and then use the IP address to hook it up to a DVR so I can watch it with my rest of my cameras. I can't integrate it like that at all. It's completely not that. This is more of a nanny cam or a toy that you would give your teenage child so that they could learn about apps, Wi-Fi, syncing up, registration, a little bit about cameras, and basically getting apps to work, wireless apps to work. That's what this is pretty much geared up for. Or you could use it as a nanny cam. As long as you supply power in the back, you set it, and you set your SD card. I have done a few little tests and it does look like it will record as a standalone unit. But as far as controlling it wirelessly, no. Logging into it wirelessly, no. You got to go back up to the device, get the SD card out of it, and then put it on a computer and then decipher through what you want to see. In this actual app here, it does have this little thing called activity, but even if you go back just a little bit, you can't replay. It won't send the signal to here. Nothing's really happening there. That's because you actually need the cloud software service on the phone, so it's a subscription. But the problem is with that, and I didn't pay for it, and I didn't get it, and I don't believe it'll work, simply because this camera is not made for this application right here. And if I go paying $30 a month, then I've got to go through the unsubscribe and all this rubbish. And I know for a fact, if I can't sync this camera and get this to recognize it as a memory, as a camera installed, then there's no way it's going to work, because when you go onto the app remotely, it's going to go, which camera you want. We haven't even been able to get to that stage on this app and say, right, camera 1, because you can get this to communicate, yes, but there's no save button here. There's nothing happening here. And as soon as you go out of it, and there's a lot of lag that's happening here too. See, I'm stuck now. Let's go back to device. As soon as you go back to the main menu, it's telling you, do you want to exit setup? So to cut a long story short, yes, the cloud storage, it is a camera. It does have those functions, but those functions are completely useless. I don't even know if you could use this as a nanny cam or anything. You know, it is possible that it could be used like that, but the reliability, the motion tracking, all those sorts of things, will it trigger an event with movement? Will it not? It should. A lot of the times when I did my testing, I was just simply hitting the record button to see if it will record, and it did actually record. So a standalone device, I give it 50-50. But for the $25 that was paid for it, I think you're getting $25 worth, actually. You know, I think you're getting $25. Look, put USB on it, put it on the shelf, and if you're lucky enough to get your footage out of it, you're done well. Leave your comments down below, and that's my review on this little Y1 or Y by 1 Wi-Fi camera. Thanks for watching.